Chris Sewall here, host of Collector Investor Podcast, in that order, the podcast where we talk about all things sports cards and everything related to the sports card hobby.
Need to bring more energy, bro. This is really just two friends talking about the hobby we love.
Fine. We talked about this, but all right. Chris Sewall here, Collector Investor Podcast host. I am your fantastic host. This guy's also here, Jeremy Donson. Chris Sewall and Jeremy Donson, in that order.
I think we need to work on that order, bro. I think it should be
right.
Snowman, Texas Snowman, and then Chris.
I think the order's fine. Oh wow, he added that little new part. Welcome everyone, Collector Investor Podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Sewall, along with the Texas Snowman, whichever side he's on based on your vision. But yeah, I didn't know we added that little logo thing. That's pretty cool.
I didn't either.
I still have a Pokémon card in front of me instead of a sports card.
I find that to be hilariously inaccurate information and fake news to the third power that you're a Pokemon guy.
Oh, I'm not a Pokemon. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
That's what makes it so funny, dude. Theo likes to throw those little nugs in that surprise us like that.
Sure,
keeps us on our toes. I like it. It was a very powerful sound for two powerful beings, right?
It was powerful. Yeah. How's it going, man? What's up?
Oh man, I'm good. I think it's funny that you have a Pokemon card in front of you.
Yeah, maybe that's a sign of the future. Maybe I'll become a Pokemon.
A guy. A Pokemon man.
Pokemon? How do you pronounce it? I don't even know. What is a Pokemon? Is it like a monster? It's a little character? What is it?
Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
All right. Nah, man, hanging out. I been a little under the weather and just trying to get past that, but got a lot of deals pending. But the guys just got back from Nashville show. It was massive, dude. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah? Jeff, the coordinator, added so many tables, man. It was humongous, and it was an excellent show. We got lots of new consigners, lots of good stuff on consignment. It was very, very good. Very good.
So how big is Nashville compared to like Philly?
I mean, if you asked me that a year ago, it'd be a different answer. I wasn't there, but I think there was well over 1,000 tables at this Nashville show. Well over, maybe 1,200 question mark. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was big. Like Jeff, I talked to Jeff briefly before the show, and he's like, "Yeah, we're adding a ton of tables now." So it's big, man. I would say it's probably bigger than Philly question mark size wise, table wise.
The amount of like large shows that exist now is incredible.
Yeah,
I remember 10 years ago living in California, there was no shows to go to within a driving range of any note, like literally none. I mean, like there was no big shows on the West Coast. Now every city has, Nashville, every city's got like massive shows.
So I know. So it's a fun backstory. I lived in Northwest Arizona and Chris lived in Southern Cali, and we were like, man, it'd be so great if there was shows here. He moves to the Netherlands. I moved to Dallas, and suddenly there's shows there now.
Yeah,
it's
right.
Like, why couldn't there have been shows when we were there? You know what I mean?
Like literally, the West Coast show in Anaheim opens like the year I leave. After having been there 10 years. Thanks, Robin Burbank. Should have come in earlier.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Veras. Appreciate that so much. Timing, it's a great show. Timing should have been a few years earlier.
You should have put my needs in your thoughts.
Why didn't you base all your business decisions around me and Chris?
Right, exactly.
Oh man, yeah, crazy. Okay. Yeah, we have so many shows, man. Definitely over 40 this year, maybe 50. It's insane. Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
Yep. All right, cool, man.
Any big news from you? I actually have a card I want to show that I purchased recently, which is not something I rarely do, but I just happened to just run it right before our show, so I want to show it. You're not going to recognize it because I didn't even recognize it. It's a 1992 University of Maryland ACC Tournament Champs card. Now,
I've never seen that.
On the surface, it doesn't look like much, but I went to the University of Maryland. That's where I graduated. And have you ever heard of Len Bias?
No.
So Len Bias was the greatest basketball player in Maryland history, and he played in the 80s or into the early 90s, maybe. No, sorry, in the 80s. And he was drafted, I believe, number 2 overall into the NBA. But then he died of a cocaine overdose before he made the NBA. So he's a legend in Maryland history, but he has no cards because he didn't. This is one of the very few cards he's on. He's there on the side.
Can you hold it up closer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that card ever. No.
No, I know. So it's a card most people wouldn't know has any relevance. And if you look at it, it doesn't look like it has any relevance, but it's one of the very few cards to feature Len Bias.
Wow.
It's a PSA 10, which is a pop 37. No, I paid over the last comp for it. No, actually hold on to it for a while before. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be a short-term PC item.
I'm curious, as I'm sure viewers are as well.
Yeah.
So okay, so it's I think it's safe to say it's a niche category. It's a niche card.
Right, yeah.
If you're not from Maryland, probably not going to care about that card. Maybe. So what is the worth of that card, being that it's really important to people like you, but I never heard of it in my life, and most people haven't either. So if you don't mind sharing, what is the value of that card right now today, roughly?
Yeah, so I forget what I paid. So the last comp is $475. It went for $475, but that was a very high comp. That was a very high comp. The comps before that were in the like $150 to $200 range. So I can't remember, because the seller had it in his PSA account, and there was a PSA estimate, I think, as to what it was worth, and I actually paid that.
Interesting.
I want to say it was like 400, something like that.
So you paid top end of retail because you wanted it for PC and find another one, right?
Yeah, I've never seen it. I'm guess I'll never have another chance to get it. They never come up for sale in a 10 anyway. So I'm gonna hold on to it for a while, and then at some point I'll probably sell it and ask some really high price.
That reminds me, I may or may not have forgot to mention, I may or may not have sold 3 or 4 Charlotte O oranges for like half retail to a friend, and I forgot to call you.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're not that dumb. I mean, you're dumb, but
thank you.
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm supposed to tease what we're going to talk about today. So we do have some hobby news, a couple hobby things that aren't really up our alley, but we'll touch on them. And then, as always, we're going to do our debate of the day after doing some some questions from the audience, which is I think both of our favorite segments at this point.
I really like it. Yeah. Oh, may I interject for a second?
Sure.
I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
I have to give props where props are due, and props are due in the camp of Theo, who we have now nicknamed Thor. And there's a fun story behind that. But his new name is Thor, Theo Thorhammer. And anyways, so I've been trying to get into the Strongsville show forever. And forever, a couple years, I guess. But anyways, Theo made it happen. So we are in the Strongsville show. CIA is in Strongsville show. Super stoked about that. I will be going to that show. We're really excited to be there. So good job, Theo. Appreciate that, and super stoked to be in there. So,
well done.
One last thing on show news, forgot. So, anyways, go ahead.
Well, are you going to Strongsville yourself?
I am going to go to.
I'm sorry. I know you said you're going. Is this the first time you've gone? That's what I wanted to ask.
It is, yeah. And of every show in the nation, I would say the show that I am asked most often if I'm physically going to is the Strongsville show.
Yeah.
Not national, not West Coast, none of that. Strongsville. That's the one I get the most questions about. Are you going to Strongsville? Are you going to Strongsville? I'm going to Strongsville, and I'm excited to go to Strongsville. So,
even though this will be the first year it's not fully vintage, but still.
I'm very curious to how the reaction is going to be to that. Very curious. Yeah, very curious.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyways, back to the teaser and what we're doing. Go ahead.
No, that was it for the teaser. Should we just jump into hobby news? Yeah, both of these topics are like things that I would never never mention on my channel because they're, I don't know. But as the Pokemon expert here, as our logo shows, we should talk about the all-time record trading card in world history, which was a Pokemon card that sold for over $16 million. $16 million. I don't even know what the title of the card. Pikachu Illustrator. PSA 10, which is I assume a pop 1. Is it not a pop? I mean, I assume it's a pop 1, but. What's your thoughts on a $16 million Pokemon card sale, surpassing the sports card record sale?
Let's bring Theo in here. What you got there, Theo?
I'm going to talk as my Charizard card right here. So as the Pokemon expert on the team, I did collect.
He's the one with Pokemon cards in front of him.
Yeah. Chris, you already outed yourself saying Pokemon instead of Pokemon.
Do you pronounce the E? Is it Pokemon? Pokemon? What is it?
Pokemon.
Okay.
So yeah. So you're right. The Pikachu Illustrator. It's the only PSA 10 ever graded, and the card is already scarce. There's only about 39 in existence total.
Okay.
PSA graded 20 total of the Pikachu Illustrator card, and so it's literally you could call it the Honus Wagner of Pokemon cards, you could say.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this does go back to the discussion we actually had last week about how much does provenance matter when it comes to a card sale, and you guys talked about that last week in one of our questions, and I think that's a big part of this is. Yes, Logan Paul bought this card for $5.2 million a couple years ago, and now it's sold for 16. But the fact that he, got this chain, he wore it to WrestleMania. There's a whole new backstory now behind this card and where it came from, and that does add value. Whether it adds value to somebody like me and you, it just has to add value to other people, right? So I think that's a big part of this story, personally.
Absolutely, totally agree. I mean, that I think they marketed it well, and they did all the things to get that price way up there.
Yeah, I mean, no matter where I went, I saw that card everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It is kind of weird though that surpassed any sports card sale ever. I think everybody's wondering, could this have an impact if one of the PSA 10's 52 manels hit the auction, or one of the Honus Wagner high grades hit the auction at some point? Is this just a I mean, it obviously is some type of temporary record, right? With how the market's been, but I think everybody's wondering if you guys feel, does this have any type of impact on the sports card industry at all, or it's just in TCG. It really doesn't have any impact. What do you guys think?
I think regardless of this sale, let's say this sale didn't happen, I personally don't know that it really would have impacted the sale, for example, of one of the, I believe there's 3, right? 52 Topps manels and a PSA 10. That's a $30 million plus card, in my opinion, right? I mean, I think that's going to meet and surpass 30 million would be my guess for that card. If this Illustrator never sold, I don't think it's going to change that number. If anything, it may show the tremendous upside potential on the true elite top end blue chip cards, and may make it a little bit more, right? Between that and then, Mr. Wonderful buying the Jordan Kobe logo man for 9 million or something. Those things I think will certainly help show the tremendous massive upside on the top end items, but I don't know that it would really change the number that much, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the hobby a long time, and I've seen lots of record-breaking sales. My sense is none of them have real impact on like the general hobby, or everyday collectors, or very, very minimal. I'm sure you can argue that a sale like this is going to be in the news and get headlines, and more people who were sort of on the fringe about, am I interested in cards or not? Maybe they'll sway towards cards, and maybe it'll bring some people in. So there may be a small impact, but I would say it's a small impact. And it's an interesting news item. To me, it's just an interesting news item and not a whole lot more in the and I agree with Jeremy. There's lots of cards out there, sports cards, that I think would shatter this sale if they ever got put up for sale. And I would guess that in the not too distant future, one of them will hit market and break the record. I would guess so. Not hold the record long.
I would think so. Theo, what do you think about that?
I think the one thing that, I don't know if the right word's scary, I'd like to hear your opinion on this, is I go back to the Paul Skeen sale, and Dick's Sporting was buying it. Yeah. And it kind of being like a marketing type of a purchase. And in some ways, this Pikachu Illustrator seemed like the guy who bought it is trying to get some type of attention. And it's not just the everyday Joe who bought something at an auction and is going to put it in their personal collection, never to be seen again until they, pass away or sell it or whatever. And I guess my question to you guys is this good for the hobby because it shows we're healthy, or is this bad for the hobby that companies now could keep buying these big type of cards as advertising chips and saying, oh, $20 million if we buy this Honus Wagner, now we're in the news. Now we can put this Honus Wagner on display at our corporate office versus the everyday collector buying it, putting it away. I could see both sides of the argument, because the one side of the argument is saying, I can go see the Skeens card. I would have never saw it if it was in somebody's PC, right? As a collector. But the other side says, I'd love for collectors to be able to buy these high-end items, not a corporation or something for marketing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good point. Wait, quick question for you, Theo. I don't know if you know this. What was the previous record for a Pokemon sale?
That's a great question.
Was it that card at 5 million?
I believe so, but I'm not 100%. I believe so.
Okay.
So
yeah, to sort of answer your question, I don't know. I would have to think about it, but I would sort of repeat myself and say I don't think it has a real impact either way. I guess, I mean, most collectors can't buy that card even if it was available to the general public versus a corporation, right? It's out of the ballpark of most people. So I don't think it would have a huge impact either way. I think it's just sort of a notable news story.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that is wild. It's sold for that much, man.
It's crazy, right?
Can't believe it.
I mean, this is not something I would ever care about, but I watch the weekly news from Junk Wax Hero and Neo and stuff, and they talk about it, so I get the basics. But basically, Ken Goldin said some pretty dumb. Oh, we have the video. Yeah, he said some pretty dumb stuff. So if you want to play it, go for it.
What I find is the people that complain about stuff are the people that will never be my customers in the first place. Normally do not have the money to spend to buy a single thing on Goldin.com, not even in our weeklies, and they just want to bitch and be bitter because they can't be happy. They want to tear down an industry. Maybe they sold their cards too early. Maybe they bought the wrong items. Maybe their friend made money and they didn't. Maybe they missed the train. Maybe they hate their job. Maybe they have nothing better to do with their life. But if you love collectibles, if it makes you happy, then you love this sale. You love everything that we do.
Yeah, and to give a little more context, I think he was referencing people who were questioning the Pikachu sale as maybe not shilled, but like sort of manufactured. Like it shouldn't have gone that high. A lot of people are questioning it. It's a $16 million sale on a Pokemon card. We've never seen anything like that. Like I think it just tripled the Pokemon card sale record, and it's the new all-time record for any trading card. It's a wild sale, and people are questioning it. Like, hey, this was a manufactured thing, and sort of he was responding to that by saying, if you're questioning it, you're too poor to bid in Goldin. Now, I think it should be mentioned that he did come out with an apology video and say, I didn't mean to say this, and I didn't mean to call people, say people can't afford to enter Goldin. But it was, not the smartest thing to say, I would comfortably say. What's your reaction?
I mean, my reaction is, as an auction house owner, certainly not Goldin size yet, right? But as take us, for example, we own CIA, and we see no reason why we won't eventually be at that level of sales for Goldin. That's certainly the goal anyway. But I don't know, I guess I would just want to see more care given to all bidders, right? And no matter what you do, there's always going to be haters out there, no matter what, right? No matter if you do everything perfect, there's always going to be somebody that has something negative to say. But I think it's important just to have that reputation and image that we hear what you're saying, thanks for your feedback, and not kind of blow up about it in a public way, right? I think that's important, is to maintain not allowing it to really bother you that much, to say things that you have to later apologize for, I guess, would be my main thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's questioning that it was a silly thing to say at this point, right? I mean, you're saying, if anyone's questioning it's the sale, they don't have enough money to bid in my auction. I promise you that's not true. There's lots of, I mean, I don't bid in Goldin. I could, but this is not gonna encourage me to. But I'm sure there are lots of people who bid and also feel that, hey, there might be something going on with this sale, and that's a totally reasonable thought. Whether it's true or not, maybe it's not, probably it's not. But I think it's reasonable to question it. So,
well, how much money somebody has certainly doesn't justify them of having a right to complain or not. That's silly, right? I mean, unless you're multimillionaire, you have nothing to say about it. That's not accurate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is next?
Let's move on to. I think that's it. Do we have any more hobby news?
No, I think that's it for hobby news.
Oh, he did have this $5 million sale, which is the new.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we got one more.
New record for a PSA.
How do we forget about that? How do we forget about that? Okay. Yeah, man. T206, my wheelhouse. Massive T206 nerd, I'm sure most of you know. But this sale is absolutely wild to me. So, this kind of goes back to this. The illustrator is to what Theo said. The Wagner is the sports cards illustrator of Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
And if you look at the VCP sales, vintage card prices sales, you look at the sale that was 3.7 million in late 2022. It was a PSA 1.5. So if you were to look at that card, it's got a crease top to bottom, and it actually looks very similar to this one in regards of condition wise, right? It looks different with the creasing, but I would say rightfully so. The 1.5 looks a little bit better than this one, but this one selling for almost double what that 1.5 sold for in 2022. It's just gone up so much, man. It's absolute insanity. And this is an example of, you look at the COVID peak sales versus what it is now. That just shows you that not all cards had needed a market correction from COVID prices. This is not one of those cards, right? This is in its league of its own. COVID didn't really affect it too much when it comes to what it was worth then versus what it's worth now. It's worth more now than it was at the height of COVID, because it's the T206 Honus Wagner, the holy grail of all sports cards. You know what I mean? But the increase in value of this card is just staggering to me. Staggering. Agreed.
I mean, it's this one. Well, this one's centered pretty nicely, I guess, right?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Do you remember if the PSA 1.5 was centered or not?
I don't recall. Let me look real quick.
I mean, this is really $5 million for a PSA 1. There's PSA 3s out there, and there's a PSA. Isn't there a PSA 4 or maybe even a 5 that exists? Okay,
that is the 1.5. Oops.
Okay, that one's centered also. Yeah. Okay.
See if we can get a better image there. There we go. Yeah, that's the 1.5.
That's a 1, though. That's a 1.
Oh, sorry, that's the 1. My bad. I don't know why I was thinking 1.5. Yeah, that's a 1.
Okay.
And that one sold for. That's the one that sold for 3.1 million. Oh, this is a different card. Sorry, that one sold for 3.1 million in early 2022. The 1.5 did 3.7 in late 2022 and looks much better than that one did. Much better.
Okay, that's the 1.5. So that one did 3 million. That one did 3 million 2 years ago, and now the one, which is a slightly worse looking one, almost doubled the price a couple of years later.
Yeah, so the 1.5 did 3.7 million late 2022, and then the one that I showed first did 3.1 million in early 2022. Right.
All right, so we should all go out and buy a Wagner because obviously they just keep going up. So
I mean, it basically doubled. Yeah, basically doubled.
Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna go get one tomorrow.
What a card, man! What a card! But there's so much nostalgia. You're gonna get one tomorrow. Get me one too. Get me one too.
I'll pick you one up.
But there's so much nostalgia around that card. I mean, one that sold cut in half did a ton. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it just doesn't matter. But there's so much nostalgia behind it, and I think it's one of the cards that it's such a fun story. Like there's a lot of theories, if you will, mainly two theories, but one, the leading candidate in my opinion is that he didn't agree with smoking, tobacco usage, and he didn't want his fans to have to buy tobacco in order to collect that card. So he said, "Hey, take me out or I'm going to sue you." Right. Yeah. So I think that's probably what happened, but there are other theories out there that could certainly be the case as well.
Was smoking in 1909, was it known that smoking was bad?
I don't think definitely not anything like what it is today. Not
of course. Close, I feel like they didn't figure that out until like the 70s or something. Maybe not, probably earlier than that. But you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Even if doctors were starting to kind of get a hint that it was not good for you, it was just so widely accepted that I don't think it had any impact on that much. Obviously, to some level, because he didn't like it.
Yeah,
so
that's
that means some people didn't like it, but it wasn't near to the category that is today. The viewpoint it is today. Not
if you like walked into a hospital in 1910, the doctors would have all been like smoking.
I know, right? Let me see what's wrong with you. Let me check out this open wound. And
the good old times, man.
But could you imagine? Put it this way in perspective. Could you imagine Marlboro coming out with a card when you buy a carton of cigarettes?
No, yeah, right.
I couldn't even fathom that happening, and if it did, I couldn't imagine the kickback that Marlboro would receive.
But I'm sure it's illegal. They can't. They're not even allowed to market.
I would assume that's the case. No idea, but yeah. I couldn't even fathom Marlboro or Camel coming out with a sports card in their cigarettes. No. I just couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's do some questions from the viewers. Oh, we have a comment of the day first, right? What's the
comment of the day from Philly Joe? What up, Joe? All right, you want to?
Oh well, no wonder Theo picked this one.
Yeah, man. Should we even read this? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. You want to read it?
From Philly Joe. Great episode, guys. In my opinion, Theo was massively missed. LOL. As per the debate, I think people always miss the point that fans doesn't equate to collectors. I think that baseball has a greater collector base and will in the future. For example, I love football, but it's because of the betting aspects, blocks, fantasy football, straight betting, etc. But could care less about the cards and memorabilia. Have a great one. What do you think?
It's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, baseball obviously has the biggest roots in terms of sports cards by far than any others, and it has yet to be, those roots have yet to die out. So I think there's a point here for sure.
I think the basis and origin of this comment was in regards to our debate last week, which was, I voted soccer, which I clearly won that debate, by the way. Clearly.
We talked about this. You did not win. Theo reviewed the comments and said it was a draw. So you're a liar and a thief and a horrible person.
That might be the nicest thing you've ever said. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah. Now, it's not surprising. All we do is tie. Back in the day when we did the prices right on your channel, which I really miss doing, by the way, we just tied all the time. We tied. I'd win, you'd win, we tie. I win, you win.
That was funny. We did. Yeah, we probably did 3, and they were like tie. And at some point, we're like, we're gonna have to start having tiebreakers because nobody wants to watch a tie.
So we started doing odd numbered, and then there'd be a winner. But then we equally won, so it's still a tie. So
yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that was the vein of this comment was, I picked soccer, you picked early 2000 inserts because they haven't gone up near as much as 90s inserts, and it's their turn now, basically, which was an excellent point. It was definitely the second best point of that debate.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really good. And so this comment was in the vein of that, right? Just because there's a gazillion soccer fans doesn't mean that it directly equates to collectors. And I agree with what Joe said. I do agree with that.
I do as well. But although I would say that, but there's the potential.
But
it's like if you're going to grow the baseball card world, you're going to have to find more baseball fans, and that's probably harder to find than soccer fans who aren't collectors.
Exactly what I was about to say. That is true. There is a point there, and it's an excellent point. But the pool is so much more massive. It's like a vast ocean versus the Great Lakes, if you will. It's just such a bigger pool. It has a lot more ability to get massive. And look, let's think about it this way. Fanatics is quite good at marketing. I don't think there's any debating that. They know how to market their stuff, and they're going after other countries. Why? Because they know there's a massive untapped market out there for what they like. And what do they like? Well, in this order, they like soccer. To my amazement, cricket number 2 worldwide. I'm still reeling from that fact you gave last podcast.
We should get a cricket card production.
What's that?
You and I should start producing cricket cards because I think it's an untapped market.
I can in confidence say I don't know the first thing about cricket. Man.
Who's your favorite cricket player?
Yeah, I don't know much. And I think number 3 was basketball.
Yeah,
basketball. Yeah. So I mean, they see an opportunity, rightfully so. I see an opportunity there.
Yeah.
Do we think cricket cards will become big at some point? I have no idea. What do you think? Maybe.
I actually know that cricket cards have grown quite a lot. Like, it's very under the radar for most people. But I know the Babe Ruth of cricket is a guy named Don Bradman, and he played in the teens and 20s maybe. I think the 20s and 30s, and he's got stats just beyond everybody else. And his cards are worth a lot. And he's got, or the right cards of him are worth quite a bit. They're kind of like cigarette cards or tobacco cards, or like, tea card, the mini cards from the 30s. Got quite a few, and in high grade they can be worth a ton. I don't know that there's a lot of modern cricket, but I think there's some, and I would guess it will grow, given that there's 2.5 billion cricket fans out there.
I think it's safe to say that they're going to start producing a lot more cricket cards in the near future.
Yeah, that'd be a good guess.
I think it's pretty safe to say.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for the comments, Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. Next. Now we're in questions of the day. Thanks for all your questions. And as always, we will disclose if we read this question beforehand or not. From at KCW8816. First time, long time here. If the MLB goes on strike in 2027, how do you think that affects the modern baseball card market? Looking back from personal experience as a kid in 1994, my collection definitely shifted from primarily baseball to other sports and even non-sport cards. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks for taking my call.
That was a radio show.
Yeah. Go ahead. What do you think?
Well, in 1994, it had an impact, a major impact. I know I was in the hobby then, and it definitely had a major impact. I would guess it would here. And today, now there's a lot more options. Like in 1994, if you were a baseball card collector, there weren't a lot of major sports cards. I mean, you could go to basketball or football or hockey. But today there's a lot more things you can shift into, including Pokémon cards. And so you have a lot more options. So if I was baseball, I mean, look, I think it could have an impact. I wouldn't know that for sure, but I mean, yeah. That's what I think. What are you doing, baseball? Just figure it out and sign a contract.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there's always going to be people that are not that are upset by that. Obviously, that's a given. People are going to be upset, but will there be enough people to mutiny against modern baseball cards because they went on strike? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not going to kill their love of collecting enough to make them not buy cards anymore. So my answer would be no. Will it affect it to some degree? Sure. There's going to be people who are like, man, you know what? I'm not even going to support the sport by buying that. I'll maybe, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough to change the market as much. I could be dead wrong on that. Maybe it does make the prices go down a bit. But I don't think so. And if it did, I would think temporarily. Yeah.
That's probably sort of how I feel too.
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Casey. Appreciate it, man. All right, on to the next from Lance Edis. What's up, Lance? Great stuff as always, guys. My question submission. It seems that PSA authenticating Jordan star cards was a catalyst for them rising in value. I believe they have outperformed the Jordan Fleer rookie and other Jordans, and the same goes for other star cards. Please correct me if I'm wrong on that. Are there other examples of card values changing after PSA began authenticating them? Are you aware of any other cards that PSA has begun to authenticate, or ones they might, and ways to track that? Awesome question, Lance. I like that question a lot. So I would say, first of all, when PSA started authenticating Jordan star cards, it definitely was the catalyst in them rising. Yes, no debate there at all. It certainly was. When PSA started grading them, not that it necessarily needed it, which I feel it kind of did in a way to some level, it really legitimized the product, right? PSA starts grading it, it even further legitimizes the product. I'm not saying that star cards were not legit until they started grading them. I'm saying it helped the cause, right? It definitely helped the cause, and it certainly just skyrocketed value compared to Beckett slabs, for sure, certainly. So yes, I agree with that. They certainly were the catalyst, and the other star cards as well. Yes, PSA grading them certainly was a major part of the reason why they started going up. As far excuse me, as far as are there other examples of PSA grading them or authenticating them, and then they go up? I'm sure there's several others. I can't think of something right now off the top of my head. Chris, maybe you can if you have something you can think of. But there are items, I will say, that I'm holding on to because I feel like PSA will start grading them at some point. And if I sell them now, I think it's going to be fractionally at best what it would bring versus if they do start grading it at some point. And I don't mind holding it because I like it. So I'm just going to wait and see if they do start grading it. And if they don't, then I'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. PSA, and I agree with you, Lance and Jeremy. The PSA starting to authenticate them is the reason, or one of the big reasons it shot up. It gave it a lot more credibility, whether you like that or not. That's just a fact of PSA's power at the moment. I mean, we've talked before that we as collectors have given PSA too much power, and maybe this is an example of that. Like, they basically have they have the power to say, okay, yeah, we're going to start grading these, and all of a sudden the cars rise in value. It's a lot of power we've given them, and that's part of the reason that happened, or one of the big reasons it happened for sure. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think that's just a fact. In terms of like other examples, I'm not sure exactly the timing, but actually you might know this better. The T206s. Remember when we bought the set? I feel like they had just started putting the different backs on the labels, so it'd be like factory 42, whereas before they didn't do that. And I feel like that made a huge difference, because like a Piedmont factory 30 versus a Piedmont factory 42, the 42 is way rare. It's just a tiny little difference down at the bottom, but it made a huge difference in values. I actually can think of an example going the other way. There's a Babe Ruth like chocolate card. There was it's like a 1920s set that I want to say has like 8 cards in it. It has like 8 cards in it, and they're like long and skinny this way. And PSA stopped authenticating them because I don't know why. Probably they were like too easy to fake or something. But I had a few at one point and sold them for a lot, and then I still had some, and PSA stopped authenticating them. They stopped selling. Like nobody wanted them anymore.
Wow. I actually didn't know they stopped that.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the. Yeah.
Was it Willard's? Maybe
they're like black and white cards, and they're tall and skinny. Yeah, and it was like an 8-card Babe Ruth set type of thing. Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I actually didn't know that they stopped grading that. What's up, Theo?
I got a question for you guys. Which Michael Jordan card do you guys recognize as the rookie card?
Oh, that's a good question. You want to go first or me, bro?
I mean, I recognize them both. Like, I don't really care which one is officially the rookie. They're both key cards. I think there's an argument for both, and I recognize the argument for both. And I'm taking the boring answer here, but to me, they're both super cool. So who cares which one's the official important one?
Yeah. No, that makes sense to me. Yeah. So going back to Lance's question about PSA grading the star cards and ultimately more not necessarily legitimizing it, but everything that we said previously about the star cards, right?
Yeah.
If put it this way in perspective, if the star cards were viewed as his rookie card from the beginning and legitimate rookie card, then it would be the rookie card largely, not the Fleers, right? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they only made 3,000 packs of each, right?
That's what's stated, but I don't know if that's like known to be true.
Right. It's theorized to be true that there's 3,000 Jordan 101 Star Jordan cards, right? Number 101, 84. So I think that, it was very poor paper stock overall. It wasn't really great, you know what I mean? And it was very small production. Fleer certainly came out with far more than 3,000 of them. You know what I mean? So they recognized Fleer as the rookie, as the first legitimate, quote unquote, large scale card that came out that was his rookie. And right or wrong, that's what happened. So in my view, I view them both as his rookie card. Fleer, the 86 Fleer will never not be viewed as his rookie, period. It always will be. And the 84 Star now also is viewed as his rookie card. So which one's his legitimate rookie? I would say probably the Star card now. But if you asked me that 10 years ago, I would have said the Fleer. But they're both his rookie card. That's what I feel. Yeah.
So when in the 80s, of course, Beckett, and I don't mean the grading company, Beckett, the price guide was the the most important brand in sports cards. They had all the power. They had all the power. What they said was the gospel of sports cards. And so their rule for a rookie card in that time was it had to be distributed in packs and it had to be distributed nationwide. Like it couldn't be like, you can only get this in New Hampshire. It can't be that sort of thing. And the star cards did not meet either of those criteria. They were distributed as team bags. And I think they were only distributed in their own region. I'm not sure about that, but I feel like you could only get those Chicago Bulls in the Chicago area type of thing. If that's wrong, someone can correct me. I think that's true. So they weren't nationwide and they weren't in packs. So it was not considered an official rookie card. It was considered sort of like an oddball set, and they called it an XRC, an extended rookie card, which was just a different term. So that's why that's where it all came from. The Fleer is the original rookie card. We've all thought of it for decades because of Beckett's definition of rookie card. And in the last few years, people are now pushing back on that for right or wrong.
Yeah. And I mean, look at the value speaks for itself. A PSA 5, Jordan Star 101 is probably a $40,000 card today, roughly. Maybe more. It keeps going up a lot. But a 86 Fleer Jordan in a 5 is what? Maybe $5,000, $6,000, something like that. So the value is about 10x, almost 10x. So that speaks for itself, and honestly, rightfully so, because there's only 3,000 quote unquote versus. Do you know how many Fleers were produced? Any idea?
But I don't know. No.
I'm sure I could just do a quick Google lookup and find out, but I don't know offhand how many were produced. But certainly a lot more than 3,000 of them.
Right.
One other thing, as far as PSA grading things, I mean, why do they not grade certain things? Is it because they weren't sure that it was legitimate? Is it because that there was too many good fakes? Is it because Beckett marked it as XRC and that's why they didn't grade it? What would be your guess, if you will, why PSA wouldn't grade that for a while?
You mean why they didn't grade Star for so long?
Correct.
You know what? I can't believe I don't know that. I think it's because I want to say it's because it was an easily faked card, and so they weren't 100% sure about it, although I'm not sure about that. But I also want to say there was some rumor that Star produced them years later as well. So they, it was a 1984 production, but they were still putting them out years later. And so that was sort of against policy. I don't know that to be true. So I don't want to say that's definitive, but I think those are the two reasons. I'm not sure what changed so that they decided that they would now grade them. Do you know? Does Theo know?
Not definitively, no. Yeah. I always felt like it could be because it was, your answer basically, but I don't know for certain now. I'm not sure. Yeah. But it is interesting why they didn't.
Yeah.
All right. Great question. Yes. Let us move on to the debate of the day. Bam. I believe it's my turn to go first. Yes?
It is. It's your turn to pick your side and go first.
All right. The PSA upcharge on higher value cards. Is it fair and I'm happy to pay it? Or is it unfair and PSA should eliminate it? All right. This is fun. Okay.
So remember you have to when you pick it, so you have to, so I have to pretend that I'm into whatever my side is. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Is it fair? That's the question. Let me go back here. Is it fair? Define fair, right? So I'm going to pick it is fair, but I'm not a fan of it. Right? I don't think anybody is. I'm going to pick the it is fair side of the debate, right?
Okay.
So think about it from, well, first and foremost, I got to say, right? The only time I can ever think where I am happy to find out that I owe a lot more money is if I get a notification of an upcharge. if I send a card at a tier scale that I feel that's going to grade and therefore be the value of, and I find out, oh, this actually happened to me. I got a $1,500 upcharge, and I was like, hey, fantastic! That means something got an awesome grade, man. Yeah, I'm excited to pay $1,500 more for this card. Then I'm thrilled to pay more. That's probably the only thing I can think of where I'm thrilled to pay more for something. So I always love when I see I'm getting an upcharge. Now, I would certainly love it if there wasn't an upcharge, but I do think it's fair, and here's why I think it's fair. If you're grading a card that's worth $500 and you're liable for that card, you are financially responsible for the safekeeping of that card, that the card does not, oops, I dropped it and get damaged. It's shipped from PSA to your house and you are responsible for it until it arrives. Then there should be a higher charge for the higher dollar items. If you're grading $1 million 52 mantle and an 8, 1.2 or 3 million, and you're grading that card, you're far more risk if something does happen to that card. So there rightfully so should be a higher charge for that card. So yeah, for largely that reason, among more, I think it is fair that there is an upcharge for higher value items.
Jeremy. So ignorant. Total ripoff. So it takes the exact same amount of effort to grade a cheap card versus an expensive card. The service they're providing is the exact same. Why are they charging more for one? If you take in your Toyota Camry into a car wash and then you take in your Lamborghini into a car wash, they charge you the same amount for each car at the car wash, as they should. And here they're doing the same thing. Also, it gives them the ability to make their own call as to what a card's worth. I mean, the value of a card is subjective. It's not a $100 bill where it's clearly worth $100. It's a subjective decision. And now they have all the power to say, oh, we're just going to say that this card is worth more than the limit, so you got to pay more. And then they kind of hold your card hostage, like you got to pay it before you can get your card back. And all that is totally unfair.
Yeah, makes sense. The thing is, if you drive your car to a car wash,
yeah,
you're the one responsible if you damage it or not. You know what I mean? I mean, sure, I guess if the nozzle flies off and dents your car or something, then yeah, you got to pay to get it fixed. But when someone, you're still in control of your vehicle, I guess is my point, right? But when you send a card to an auction house to be auctioned or to a grading company to be graded, you're entrusting that company with your item and you temporarily have no control over that item. They do. So they are liable for it from a financial perspective. And the more liability you have, it certainly makes sense that the more that would be charged to have that item and take on that financial responsibility of that item. If I have a $50 card versus a $5 million card or $500,000 card or a $50,000 card, I'm at more risk to have that card. Therefore, the cost is more. That seems fair to me, right? Do I like it? No. Does it take the same amount of time to grade that card as it does the other one? In theory, yes, it takes the same amount of time, but there's more risk and there's more liability. So the cost should rightfully be more, right?
I think PSA's insurance, they've got plenty of insurance to cover all of it. I don't think they need to differentiate. They've got one, I'm sure they have one big insurance policy with some insurance company and it just covers everything. So for them to try to, if they're trying to claim that they need to charge more for insurance, I'm sure it's already covered and I wouldn't buy that argument.
Yeah. All right. So as always, guys, comment below who won the debate.
No, Theo's, we got our judge back.
Oh, that's right. I'm so used to the the bidders. Theo, who won the debate, sir?
Or we can go with the bidders. The viewers. What do you think is a better way to do it?
I think I need to make a decision so we can have something embarrassing released today. I did make this slide up to show you guys the current pricing structure for PSA off their website, and something that's always stuck out to me is when they recently switched to the lowest tier is $500 in value on a card, and with the crazy prices cards command now, like $500 is really not much. It's a really low amount to start off with, in my opinion, which is just a slap in the face to collectors in general. And I think PSA has always thrown about the oh, well, if we have to pay everybody whenever a card is deemed, fraudulent that we encapsulated, we have to have insurance for that. Well, no, that's your fault. You should have never encapsulated that card. That's not on the collector that you encapsulated a fake card, or you encapsulated a card with a grade of a 5 and now you want to move it down to a 2 because it's embarrassing to the company. That's on you. That's not on the collector. So I always hated that take by PSA that they needed money to reimburse people for mistakes that they've made. So the winner of the debate is clearly Chris. You did a great job with that debate, Chris, and you're clearly the winner.
So clear, right? So clear.
Well,
it wasn't even a challenge.
You can ask the viewers if they agree with Theo, if Theo's an impartial judge or not.
Yeah, I think obvious who really won the debate, and Theo's just trying to, I don't know, brag on you and make you like him more, I guess.
You're just trying to stir up some controversy. Yeah.
I mean, I think it certainly makes sense that they would charge more. Now, do I? So, congratulations on your win, sir. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Now, do I think that it's too high? Absolutely, it's too high, dude. $25 to grade a card that's worth a couple $100 to $500. I think that's way too high. I really do. I understand why they did it and all that, but I think it is too high. And to spend $2,000 to grade a card because it's worth more, I think is extreme. I think it is extreme. Should it be more? I can get behind it being more. Yes. Should it be $2,000 to grade a $30,000 card? No, it shouldn't be $2,000. It's like they use that 6 to 10% value is what they're going to charge scale. It just kind of seems like that. We're going to charge 6 to 10% of the card's value, and that's just what it is. Well, I think that's too extreme. I think it's too high. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it last week. I mean, at $25 for the bulk level, there's just you really start eliminating a lot that it makes financial sense to send in. Because there's just so many modern cards that are $80 PSA 10s and they're $20 PSA 9s, and they're $5 card raw. And when you're getting to $25, plus that doesn't even cover shipping and insurance both ways, and you're now spending $30 a card maybe or whatever, and you're waiting 5 months. What is it? 95 business days. What is that? 5 months to get your cards back. Like, where's the value? The value prop is just dropping quickly. So I hope people notice that and stop sending in so much cards. I had a viewer. Oh shoot, I should have pulled it up because it was a great email he sent me. That it's a lot of this is going on sort of in the Pokemon in the Pokémon world. Because kind of like there was a stretch in sports cards where PSA grading was $8 a card, and like any card of note was like a $40 PSA 10 and a $20 PSA 9, and it just makes sense to send in everything. Like you could send in a 91 Topps Chipper Jones like all day because it's only $8 a card, and you're getting back in a month, and it's a $40 10. There's the value prop was just so good on so many cards, and it's like that in Pokemon right now, which is why so many Pokemon cards are getting submitted, because there's so many Pokemon cards that are like it's a $2 card, but it's an $80 10 and it's a $30 9, and the numbers just work out to send in everything. So that's really where the log jam is from Pokemon. But for me, sports cards is really there's so much not worth sending in that is getting sent in. I say this all the time on my channel, so it's probably repeat anyway. But anyway, I get to say something embarrassing about you. So when we first met, back in 2000, whatever it was, 11, or for the first like 2 or 3 years that we would do deals, Jeremy did not know how to pronounce Rocky Colavito's name. Rocky Colavito was a baseball star in the 60s, and I don't think he's a Hall of Famer, but he's sort of like a borderline guy who didn't get in. But he would always say Rocky Colavito, and he would Rocky Colavito, and I never corrected him because I thought it was hilarious. And I think one point you were like, "Is it Rocky Colavito or Rocky Colavito?" And I was like, "It's Vito." He's like, "Oh, I've been saying it wrong this whole time." And I was like, "Yeah, you have."
You know what? I actually have no memory of
You remember that?
at
Okay.
all. And that is so funny that that you just let me say it wrong forever.
Yeah.
Just think, if I had never asked you,
You're still saying it.
to this day, I'd still be saying it that way, and you'd just be so happy.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's funny. Nice. Well, good looking out, man. Appreciate that a lot.
Sure.
Thanks
Yeah, no problem.
for your own amusement there. All right, cool. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching this week's podcast. We appreciate you. Chris, thanks, buddy, for being such an amazing co-host who biasly won this week's debate under protest.
Yeah.
And we shall see you guys next week.
All right, later, guys.
Thanks for watching this episode. What the hell?
We don't have all day, Jeremy. Come on. Let's
I know. I'm working up the greatness inside of me. It's coming. Such impatience. Gosh, for those of you who know Theo, give him a hard time for me. Please. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of Collector Investor Podcast. Texas Snowman and Chris Sewall in that order. Feel free to check out the description below to see how to reach out to us directly and our other social media platforms and the auction house. See you next time.